Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Okay, so if you're listening, I'm guessing you know exactly what we're talking about when we mention stress. Not just, a bad day kind of stress, but that chronic underlying tension that just seems to be part of modern life. For so many of us, it's like this background noise that's always on. And naturally, we're all looking for ways to dial that down, right? Something beyond just coping, something more holistic, maybe, sustainable. Today, we're doing a deep dive into one of the really big names that keeps popping up in this space, ashwagandha. It's this ancient herb, been used forever in Ayurvedic medicine, and suddenly it feels like it's everywhere, gaining this huge popularity as maybe an answer to that daily grind.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this traditional wisdom is meeting modern science. And our mission today really is to get past the hype, to look at ashwagandha, the plant is Withania somnifera, and figure out what the science actually says. Does it work? How does it work? What does it actually do in the body to help manage stress? And crucially, what does the research tell us about using it effectively? Dosage, form, that kind of thing. We want you to have the real facts, not just the marketing buzz.
Okay, let's unpack this. So what makes ashwagandha stand out? I mean, there are loads of wellness supplements out there. We know it has this long history, this Rhasiana status in India, sort of rejuvenator. But for someone looking at it today, what's the key classification?
Right. The really critical term here is adaptogen. That's the label that sets it apart scientifically. An adaptogen is basically a natural substance that helps your body, adapt. It helps you maintain balance by adjusting your response to stress. It's not like caffeine that just stimulates you, and it's not a sedative that knocks you out. It's different. Think of it maybe like a thermostat for your body's stress response. Or maybe a dimmer switch is better.
Okay.
Yeah, not just on or off. If your system is running too high, feeling anxious, wired, can't sleep because cortisol's up, it helps dial that down. But if you're feeling depleted, burnt out, low energy, it helps gently bring you back towards balance, towards vitality. The goal is always homeostasis, that internal stability, even when things outside are chaotic.
That idea of building resilience rather than just treating a symptom, that feels really important. And we definitely need that resilience because chronic stress, it's not just an inconvenience, is it? It's a serious health issue.
Oh, absolutely. People often underestimate it. They think, I'm just stressed, like it's only in their head. But biologically, it's causing real wear and tear. Your hormones get out of whack, you get low-grade inflammation simmering away, your heart's working harder. And if that goes on and on unchecked, it really does degrade your body's regulatory systems. We see clear links to things like anxiety, depression, definitely cardiovascular problems, high blood pressure, even a weaker immune system.
Wow.
So looking at something like ashwagandha, it's not just about feeling a bit calmer day to day. It's potentially a way to proactively manage those really serious long-term health risks. It's about protecting your system from being constantly overloaded.
Okay, that makes the how even more critical then.
Yeah.
If it can help with all that, how does one plant root actually do it? It sounds awful.
Yeah.
Too good to be true if you don't understand the mechanism. So let's get into the science.
Okay.
What are the main ways it works, according to the research? You mentioned 3 primary mechanisms.
Right. It really boils down to how it interacts with your body's stress control systems. First up is cortisol regulation. Cortisol is that hormone everyone talks about, the stress hormone. You need it for short bursts, fight or flight. But when you're chronically stressed, your body just keeps pumping it out. And high cortisol, day after day, disrupts sleep, messes with your blood sugar, increases inflammation. That's bad news long term. Ashwagandha has been shown in studies to help lower those chronically elevated cortisol levels, bringing them back towards a healthier baseline.
Okay, lowering cortisol makes sense. But isn't that just part of the picture? Like simply blocking cortisol might not be ideal either, right? There must be a higher level control.
Exactly right. You've hit on the second and arguably the most crucial mechanism, HPA axis modulation.
The HPA axis.
Yeah, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Think of cortisol as the soldier doing the work on the ground. The HPA axis is like the command center, the general giving the orders for the whole stress response. It's your body's internal stress management system. It senses a threat, ramps things up, releases cortisol, and then, importantly, when the threat passes, it should dial things back down smoothly.
But in chronic stress, it gets stuck.
Precisely. The thermostat gets jammed. Ashwagandha seems to help modulate or fine-tune this HPA axis. That's really key because it improves your body's overall resilience. It helps the command center regulate itself better, promoting that sense of calm without making you drowsy. It's like helping retrain the controller.
Okay, that's significant. And the third mechanism?
The third involves more direct neurobiological effects. Ashwagandha contains compounds, with analytes are the main ones, that have antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. And since chronic stress fuels oxidative stress and inflammation, especially in the brain, well, these properties help protect your brain cells from that damage. So it supports mental health and potentially cognitive function that way too.
It sounds less like just an anti-anxiety pill and more like
Yeah.
a whole system balancer,
Mm-hmm.
which fits with that traditional rejuvenator idea.
Mm.
So beyond just feeling less stressed, what are people actually reporting? What are the other benefits coming up?
Well, the sources we looked at mentioned quite a few things. Improved sleep quality comes up a lot, like falling asleep easier, staying asleep longer. And probably linked to that, people report better energy levels during the day, more focus, better concentration. Some studies even hint at cognitive boosts, like quicker reaction times or being better at juggling tasks. It paints a picture of being more effective overall, not just calmer. Yeah, and if we look specifically at the clinical evidence, not just anecdotal reports, the picture is still positive, though scientists use careful language. We have quite a few well-conducted studies now showing, yes, modest but statistically significant reductions in how stressed and anxious people report feeling.
Modest but significant. Okay.
Right. And these aren't overnight results. Typically, people in these studies took standardized extracts for about 6 to 8 weeks, so it takes a little time. And the finding that keeps reinforcing the mechanism is that measurable drop in cortisol levels in stressed individuals. That's pretty consistent across several studies, and it really backs up the idea that it's working on that core hormonal stress pathway.
Right, which brings us to the practical side. If someone listening is thinking, okay, this sounds interesting, what does the research actually suggest for using it? Like how much, how long?
Okay, so the dose range that seems effective in most studies is somewhere between 240 milligrams and 600 milligrams per day.
That's quite a range.
It is, and it's usually of a standardized extract. That's important. And yeah, you generally need to stick with it for at least a month, probably more like 2 months, to really gauge the full effect.
Why such a wide range, 240 to 600?
Mm-hmm.
And you emphasized standardized extract.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't there just one clear dose, like, say, for an aspirin? What's the complication?
That lack of a single, simple answer is a really important point, one of the critical caveats. Unlike a synthesized drug, ashwagandha is a complex plant. Its power comes from a group of active compounds called withanolides.
Withanolides, okay.
And the big challenge is that the amount of withanolides can vary hugely depending on which part of the plant is used, how it's grown, how it's processed. So some commercial extracts, you might see names like KSM-66 or Sensoril, they are standardized to contain a specific percentage of withanolides. That gives you some consistency. But if you just buy, say, generic ashwagandha root powder, the potency could be all over the place.
Ah, I see.
And because different studies use different extracts with different standardization levels, we haven't quite landed on one single optimal dose or form that works best for everyone. The research isn't quite there yet.
So as a consumer, you need to be looking for products that actually state the analyte percentage, not just the total milligrams of root.
Exactly. That gives you a much better idea of what you're actually getting. And this leads into the research gaps, We really need more large-scale, long-term studies. Most research is still relatively short, like a few months. We need to know more about efficacy and safety over years of use. The current evidence is promising, definitely, but not yet definitive for the long haul.
Makes sense. And what about safety overall? Is it generally okay for most people?
Generally, yes. For most healthy adults, taking it within those research doses seems to be quite safe. Side effects are usually rare and mild. Sometimes people report a bit of digestive upset, like stomach cramps, or maybe some mild drowsiness, especially if they take it very late in the day. However, and this is crucial because it does interact with hormone pathways like cortisol and potentially thyroid hormones. It is absolutely vital to talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before you start taking it.
Right.
Especially non-negotiable, really, if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, have thyroid issues, or any other existing health condition, or are on other medications. You need that professional guidance to make sure it's appropriate and safe for you.
Okay, really important check there. So let's try and pull all this together. What are the key takeaways for someone trying to understand ashwagandha's place in managing stress today?
So yeah, what does it all mean? I think we've seen ashwagandha is definitely more than just a fad. It's an adaptogen with real science behind it. It seems to work by directly influencing your body's core stress response system, lowering that high cortisol, helping to regulate the HPA axis. That makes it a genuine potential ally for building resilience, both physically and mentally. The reports of better sleep, more energy, better focus, those are compelling benefits that align with this mechanism. But, and it's a big but, using it wisely means being informed. Look for those standardized extracts. Be patient, give it time to work, follow the dosage guidelines from research or your provider, and always acknowledge where the research still has gaps, especially on long-term use. It's a powerful natural tool, yes, but needs to be used thoughtfully.
We've had a really fascinating look at how this one herb might biochemically help our bodies become more resilient by tweaking that central stress thermostat, the HPA axis. So here's a final thought maybe to chew on. If ashwagandha can act as a sort of chemical modulator for that crucial pathway, what role could other things, other lifestyle adaptogens, play? Think about things like regular exercise or meditation, or even the impact of strong social connections. Could they be working in part by helping to modulate that very same HPA axis, just through different means? It suggests the journey to internal balance is probably multifaceted, right? And maybe supplements like ashwagandha are best seen as one part of a bigger picture, a conscious effort towards holistic well-being. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.